I know you're tired, and I want you to know, so am I. That exhaustion you feel in your chest, the kind that seeps into your bones and makes every task feel heavier than it should, that's real, it's not weakness. It's not failure, it's a signal, a sign that you're in it, that you're doing the hard thing most people walk away from, and maybe, just maybe, that means you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're not alone. This journey, this uphill climb towards something meaningful, it's not just yours. There are so many of us who feel the same burn in our lungs, the same ache in our hearts. We feel like we're pushing boulders up a mountain while the world speeds by. And it's easy to think that nobody else gets it. It's easy to believe that everyone else is cruising while you're crawling. But here's the truth, you're not the only one fighting through the fatigue. You're not the only one who wakes up with doubt, gets dressed with discipline, and keeps moving with dreams bigger than their circumstances. This is a shared struggle, and whether we say it out loud or not, we all know the weight of it. We know the long nights where the only thing louder than the silence is the voice in your head asking, is this worth it? We know the sacrifices, the birthdays missed, the sleep lost, the friendships that faded because your vision required solitude. You're not crazy, you're not broken, you're committed. That's what this is, that's what this pain means. Sometimes the people closest to you won't understand. They'll see you working when others are resting. They'll see you tired, but they won't see the dream that keeps you alive. They'll wonder why you keep going, why you don't slow down, why you won't just settle, and you'll have to learn to be okay with that. Because purpose isn't always understood by the crowd, that's why it's yours, that's why it demands more of you than it asks of others, but what I need you to hear is this, just because your path is different doesn't mean you're walking it alone. Even in silence, even in solitude, you are part of something bigger. You're part of a tribe of people who dare to dream differently, people who are willing to break patterns, challenge limits, and sacrifice comfort for something greater. That's your community, that's your brotherhood, that's your proof that the fight is not yours to carry alone. We may not all be in the same industry, we may not live in the same city, we may never meet face to face. But the grind, the calling, the mission, that's what connects us. That's what creates a shared purpose out of individual struggles. And it's why on your worst day, when you feel like giving up, someone else's story keeps you going. And one day, your story will keep someone else going too. Because when we rise, we don't rise alone. When we win, we carry the echoes of all those who showed us it was possible. And when we fall, we lean on the truth that others have fallen and gotten back up stronger. That's what this is. That's what it means to chase a dream. It's messy, it's lonely, it's brutal, but it's also beautiful because it's real, and anything real is worth the fight. You don't have to wear the mask of perfection. You don't have to pretend you're never exhausted. You just have to promise that you won't quit because of it. Rest if you must, but don't you dare retreat. Don't shrink. Don't let the weight of today steal the joy of tomorrow. You were built for this, and not just because you're strong, but because you chose this. You chose this path. You chose this purpose, and that means something. So when you feel like you're the only one pushing forward, remember, so am I. And so are countless others you'll never see, but we're here, quietly grinding, quietly building, quietly carrying each other through the shared struggle, and you're not just surviving this, you're becoming through this. Keep going, we've got dreams to chase. There will come a moment when your body is screaming to stop, when your mind is foggy, and every part of you feels like it's collapsing under the weight of exhaustion. That moment will tempt you to give in, to rest longer than you should, to retreat into comfort, but if you can just pause, not to quit, but to remember, you'll find that your dream is still there, waiting. And it's louder than the fatigue, more powerful than the weariness, more real than the doubt. That dream is why you started. That dream is why you can't stop now. Fatigue is part of the process, not a reason to abandon it. It shows up when you're growing. It shows up when you're doing something most people avoid. It's the body and the mind adjusting to the new standard you're setting. It's a sign that you're stretching your limits. You don't get to dream big and stay comfortable. It doesn't work that way. Dreams don't come with comfort, they come with cost, and part of that cost is your energy, your time, your patience, and yes, your sleep. But no matter how tired you feel, the vision has to be louder. It has to be vivid enough to pull you through the hard days. It has to be clear enough to push you through the early mornings and late nights. That's the power of a dream. It becomes your fuel. Where most people stop, you dig deeper. Where others say this is too much, you say this is worth it, because you know what's on the other side. People who don't have a dream will never understand the level of exhaustion you feel. They'll look at your efforts and call it obsession. They'll see your hustle and call it unhealthy, but they don't see what you see. They don't hear the future calling your name. They don't feel the urgency inside your chest that tells you, I have to do this. Not for the money, not for the applause, but because you were meant to, because something inside you refuses to let this life pass you by unlived. You weren't made to wake up, clock in, go home, and repeat until you die. You were made for something more, and that more doesn't come easy. That's why so many give up. That's why fatigue becomes their finish line instead of a checkpoint. But if you can shift your mindset, if you can understand that being tired doesn't mean you're done, it just means you're in it, then you'll unlock a part of yourself that most never find, because dreams will do something fatigue never can, they'll wake you up. When the alarm goes off and your body begs you to hit snooze, the dream is what pulls the covers off. When the world tells you it's okay to slow down, your dream reminds you that you're not done yet. When no one is clapping, when no one is cheering, when no one is watching, that dream still matters. It still fuels your next step. That's where true discipline is born, not in the spotlight, in the shadows. In the quiet grind, and here's the truth most people never say out loud, some days the dream itself is the only thing that keeps you standing. On those days when the results aren't showing, when the bank account is low, when the rejections pile up, the only thing keeping you from walking away is that deep, unshakable vision of what could be. That's not delusion, that's conviction, and it's rare. So yes, you're tired, that's human, that's expected, but your dream, that's sacred, that's untouchable. No amount of fatigue can erase it. No setback can silence it. And no amount of pain can ever match the joy you'll feel when you get there. When you see the life you imagined staring back at you, not because it was handed to you, but because you earned it, because you endured for it. So lean into the tiredness, let it remind you that you're building something real, but never, ever let it be louder than your dream. You didn't come this far to stop now. You're not here to coast, you're here to climb. And that dream, that's your ladder out of the ordinary. That's your reason to rise again tomorrow. So breathe deep, stand tall, and keep going. Your dream is worth every step, even the tired ones. Strength isn't what most people think it is. It's not about lifting the heaviest weight in the room or never shedding a tear. It's not about being untouchable, emotionless, or always in control. Real strength isn't loud. It doesn't have to be. It's the quiet choice to keep moving forward when everything in you wants to stop. It's the decision to show up not because it's easy, but because it matters. And if you've ever faced a moment where quitting felt easier than continuing, yet you took one more step, you already know what true strength looks like. Strength is being tired and still showing up. It's having every reason to stay in bed and finding just one reason to get up. It's sitting in your car, tears running down your face, knowing the world expects you to be okay, and still walking through that door with your head held high. It's facing disappointment, failure, rejection, and refusing to let any of it define you. You don't have to be perfect to be strong. You just have to keep going. We live in a world that glamorizes grit, but often forgets that strength comes in layers. Yes, strength is action, but it's also restraint. It's knowing when to push and when to pause. It's learning to listen to your body without letting comfort control your life. It's about being in tune with your struggle while not being controlled by it. That balance, that awareness, that's a strength most people never talk about, but it matters. And here's something else. Being vulnerable doesn't make you weak. In fact, vulnerability is one of the purest forms of strength. Admitting you're tired, that you're scared, that you're unsure, that's courageous. Most people hide behind their hustle. They mask their fear with noise, but the strongest people, they face it, they name it. And then they do the work anyway, not to prove something to the world, but because they refuse to let fear dictate their future. Strength isn't a single moment, it's a lifestyle. It's built in the everyday choices. Saying no to distractions, saying yes to discipline, holding yourself accountable even when nobody's watching. It's those seemingly small decisions that shape your character. Anyone can go hard for a day. But strength is shown in consistency. It's in getting back up again after the world knocks you down. It's in recommitting to the vision after life tries to shake you loose. Some of the strongest people you'll ever meet won't look the way you expect. They won't walk around bragging or flexing their achievements. They'll be quiet warriors, the single mom balancing two jobs and still showing up for her kids with love, the young man fighting battles no one sees, trying to build something better than the world he came from. The creator, the builder, the dreamer, grinding in silence while the rest of the world doubts them. Their strength doesn't need recognition. It's written in the lives they change, in the things they overcome, in the peace they fight for. And if no one has told you lately, you are strong. Maybe not because you feel it right now, but because you're still here, because you haven't given up, because deep down you still believe there's more for you, even when the path feels impossible. That belief, that hope, that strength. When you refuse to let your pain define you and instead let it refine you, you're doing something extraordinary. You're turning pressure into power. So redefine what strength means for yourself. Let go of the idea that it has to look a certain way. Let it be raw, let it be real, let it be messy, and let it be yours, because true strength is found in authenticity, in the fight behind the smile, in the courage to keep dreaming even when your body's exhausted and your heart feels heavy. You don't have to roar to be strong. Sometimes strength sounds like silence. Sometimes it looks like rest. Sometimes it's saying, I'll try again tomorrow. But no matter how it looks, strength always moves forward. It doesn't matter if it's 1 inch or 1 mile. Progress is still progress. You've come too far to question what you're made of. You've carried weight that would have crushed someone else. You've walked through fire and didn't let it burn away your purpose. That's strength. It's in you. Own it. Keep moving. And when in doubt, remember, strong isn't about feeling powerful. It's about choosing to rise even when you feel anything but. Giving up always feels easier in the moment. It offers immediate relief. No more stress, no more pressure, no more constant uphill battle. Quitting whispers comfort. It tells you, just let it go. You've done enough. And for a second, that voice sounds so tempting, so rational. After all, you're tired. You've been showing up day after day with everything you've got. But here's the truth most people never want to face. Giving up always comes with a cost, and long after the temporary comfort fades, that cost shows up, not in your bank account, not in your schedule, but in your heart, in your confidence, in your ability to trust yourself again. Because when you give up, you teach yourself something. You teach yourself that your feelings are stronger than your future. You start to believe that every time it gets hard, it's okay to step away, that discipline is optional, that discomfort is something to avoid instead of something to work through, and that lesson doesn't just affect this goal, it follows you into every area of your life. It becomes a habit, a pattern, a mindset, and over time, that mindset robs you of the very thing you've been chasing, growth. The cost of giving up isn't just that you don't reach your goal. It's that you don't become the person you could have become in the process. That's the part no one talks about. See, when you're chasing a dream, you're not just chasing a result. You're chasing transformation. Every challenge is shaping you. Every setback is building resilience. Every early morning, late night, every moment of doubt that you fight through, that's character in the making, that's confidence being built brick by brick, and when you walk away from that process, you walk away from who you were becoming. But pushing through, that's where the reward lies, not just at the finish line, but every time you refuse to quit, every time you show up tired or scared or unsure, and you still give your best, that's when you grow. That's when the shift happens. That's when you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought, and no one can take that from you. The world might not see it. You might not get applause for it. But inside, something changes. You build something stronger than success. You build belief, and that belief becomes the foundation for everything else. The reward of pushing through is knowing you didn't let fear win. It's the pride that comes from honoring your commitment, even when the feeling was gone. It's the quiet power of looking at your reflection and knowing you did what you said you would do, that kind of trust in yourself. That's priceless, it's rare, and it's worth every drop of sweat, every missed party, every ounce of discomfort. And yes, pushing through is hard. It doesn't come with guarantees. There's no promise that if you grind long enough, success will come in the way you imagined. But here's the paradox. Even if the result doesn't look exactly like you pictured, you will be different. You will be better, and more importantly, you'll be stronger for the next mountain, the next challenge, the next dream, because pushing through isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about grit. It's about doing hard things not because you enjoy them, but because they mean something. When you push through, you send a message to your future self. We don't fold, we rise. That message compounds. That attitude creates momentum, and that momentum changes lives. It creates leaders, builders, creators. People who don't just dream, but do. People who understand that the pain of discipline is always lighter than the pain of regret. So the next time quitting feels like the best option, pause, breathe, and remember the cost, not just the visible one, but the invisible one, the confidence you're giving up, the growth you're postponing, the future you're delaying. Then look at what's waiting for you on the other side if you don't give up, the pride, the strength, the story you get to tell yourself for the rest of your life. You're not just chasing a goal. You're chasing who you were always meant to become, and that is worth pushing through. Every single time, there's a certain kind of bond that forms between people who are grinding in silence, not the ones who talk about it, not the ones who flash the highlights, but the ones who are in the trenches every day, building something no one else can see yet. That bond is built on sacrifice, on resilience, on long nights and early mornings. It's the kind of connection that doesn't need constant words or validation. It's a nod, a look, a moment of eye contact that says, I see you, I get it, keep going. That's brotherhood. That's the brotherhood of hustle. You don't have to be from the same place, speak the same language, or even chase the same dream to feel it. It's deeper than that. It's not about titles or achievements. It's about energy. It's about the shared understanding that we're all out here chasing something bigger than ourselves. And we know what it costs, we know what it takes, because we're paying that price every single day. There's something sacred about knowing someone else is fighting their own invisible war and still showing up. The entrepreneur building late into the night with more passion than profit, the athlete training in silence while the world doubts them, the artist creating despite every rejection, the student grinding through books hoping to change the story of their family. Different paths, same fire, and when that fire burns inside of you, you recognize it in someone else. That's when the brotherhood forms. This isn't about competition, it's about alignment. There's enough space at the top for everyone willing to do the work. And when you're truly in the hustle, you're not looking around trying to beat the next person. You're looking around to see who's running beside you, who's still in it, who hasn't folded. That's your crew. They don't have to be your best friends, they don't have to be loud, but their energy speaks for them, and the truth is, sometimes the only people who truly understand your journey are the ones walking their own. You can't explain the weight you carry to someone who's never tried to lift it. You can't expect support from those who have never sacrificed comfort for calling. But in the brotherhood of hustle, you don't need to explain. The pain, the pressure, the purpose, it's all understood. We hold each other up without even knowing it. That stranger grinding in the gym beside you, that coworker burning the midnight oil, that person on social media sharing their progress without bragging, just showing proof that persistence pays off. Their discipline fuels yours. Their consistency challenges you. Their presence reminds you that you're not crazy for wanting more. You're just awake in a world that settles, and here's the beauty of it. We don't hustle for each other, but we hustle with each other. There's strength in that. When you know someone else is still out there pushing, it becomes harder to quit. Because quitting doesn't just let you down, it breaks the chain, it weakens the bond, and whether they know your name or not, someone out there is watching you and finding the strength to keep going because of how you move. This is more than a grind, it's a commitment to growth, and that commitment is contagious. It spreads through unspoken respect, through mutual effort, through the weight we all carry, but refuse to let define us. That's the foundation of the brotherhood, and no, it's not always glamorous. Most of the time, it's hard, thankless, invisible work. But that's exactly what makes it meaningful, because we're not in it for applause. We're in it for impact. We're in it because we believe in something more than ease, more than average, more than excuses, and so we hustle. And if you're reading this thinking, I feel that, then know this, you're not alone. We're out here, the tired ones, the focused ones, the ones who have been knocked down more times than we can count but keep standing up anyway. We're building brick by brick, step by step, and when we finally get to where we're going, we'll look back and know it wasn't just about the destination. It was about who we became together, so keep moving, keep rising, and if the road feels heavy, just remember, someone else is on it too, and they're rooting for you even in silence. That's brotherhood. That's hustle, and that's forever.